Hello, my name is Hirohito Faenza, and this is going to be my persuasive speech on the death penalty. According to Criminal Justice Project of the NAACP, there are 2,656 people currently on death row in the United States as of July 1st, 2019, all of which who have committed atrocious crimes to harm and take the lives of many others. The death penalty is a way to bring closure to those who have been greatly affected by another person. And in today's speech, I will talk about what the death penalty is, its pros, and why people are against it. Um, have you ever known or been affected by someone who has caused mass harm to those around them? This can consist of a mass shooting, serial killers, and terrorists. Capital punishment, or also known as the death penalty, is defined by Roger Hood, Britannica 2020, is the execution of an offender sentenced to death after the conviction by a court of law of a criminal offense. And although even if someone has been given this death sentence, there is also a chance for an appeal to happen where from the death penalty they go to life in prison. And this is kind of how the process happens for many prisoners. Ben Bryan at BBC gives us deep explanation on what the process of the death penalty is like for the modern age, because in our modern age we use lethal injection for the death penalty sentence. So there are three stages. Midazolam knocks out the prisoner and suppresses their breathing. Vercronium bromide is administered to paralyze the muscles, and potassium chloride is to essentially stop the heart. And as you see, all three come together in a way so that the person is hopefully having the most painless experience they can in their death sentence. There is a very much a very extensive attempt to make sure that these people don't feel any pain, even if they cause pain to many others. Additionally, Hood says that the prevention of unnecessary suffering is a major part of the injection protocol, according to Arkansas's lethal injection procedure document, which states in capital letters so that it has been made clear that every effort will be extended to the condemned inmate to ensure that no unnecessary pain or suffering is inflicted. Essentially saying that it is up their top priority to make sure that they don't feel pain when they are serving the sentence, even if they have caused pain to many others, which I think is a very considerable to the death row inmate, especially even after what they've done. Roger Hood from Britannica in 2018 wrote on the history of the death penalty as well, and it was widely used during the times of ancient Greece for murder, treason, and rape. Philosophers like Plato weren't very for the death penalty at all, actually, but they were open for it for crimes that could be undone, that can't be undone. So these crimes nowadays would be considered as adultery, blasphemy, were all considered as crimes back then as crimes that couldn't be undone. But nowadays, those are considered not really as crimes in our modern age. But the death penalty nowadays is used for major offenses like murder. I actually was watching a video while working on this speech that in ancient Greece they used something called the brazen bull, which is a giant copper bull that was shaped like the animal, and they would stuff people inside and then light a fire under it and let them essentially burned alive. And I think that was an interesting start on how they did it and where it is now. And as you can see, where it went from being very, very painful to almost painless, which I think is an important point. The death penalty can prevent future murders, and I'm sure you're wondering how. Well, according to Michigan State University, our society has the highest interest in preventing murder. Hence, when the crime has been committed, we should have the right to use the strongest punishment available, which is the death penalty. If already convicted murderers and such are put to death, potential murderers and other crimes that can be tried as, for the death penalty will think twice before committing a crime that's punishable by death, essentially. And additionally, Michigan State references an analysis done by Isaac Elric that for every inmate executed, 7 lives were spared. So for one person who have committed atrocious crimes, essentially saves 7 more, because it's deterring other people from committing the same crime that the previous inmate did, which is saving lives. The death penalty is just a sentence that can potentially save many others. And the way that I think that society should look at it is that we put robbers in jail to prevent them from robbing more people. Well, we put atrocious and vicious killers and murderers and rapists into jails and give them the death sentence to hopefully prevent other people from committing the same crime, and also not allowing that person to ever go back into society. LG from Vitanen explains how the death penalty also reduces overpopulation in the U.S. prison system, and currently there is 2.3 million people or inmates being held in state, federal, local, Indian, juvenile, immigration, military, and civil commitment jails. Capital punishment creates space for those who want to rehabilitate and become an effective member of society once again. You cannot rehabilitate or let someone out into society who has committed atrocious crimes. And so why spend the time and money on someone like that? People who are not in favor of the death penalty could be the reasons stated by LG at Vitanen, and the cost to implement the death penalty is more than offering life in prison. The average cost to hold someone life in prison is about $7,400,000, where the death penalty costs over $1 million per year per inmate. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. It's $1 million per inmate. There's a lot of money to put someone to death, but it's a price to be paid for their crimes. The possibility of executing the wrong person is also another concern of many people. According to LG, since 1970, over 160 people have been exonerated after being initially convicted of a capital crime, meaning they were going to be put to death, but instead either given a new trial or just life in prison. And this is essentially giving them a second chance to make their case on why or why not they should be put to death. People don't want the wrong people being put to death, and since it has happened before, people were wrongfully executed and committed to the death penalty. And so I think that's why a lot of people are very hesitant over it, because they don't want the wrong people being killed, which is completely understandable. Finally, eliminating the possibility to rehabilitating prisoners is seen as unfair and unjust, because people believe that everyone should have a chance to change, no matter the crime. We should not discard people based on their willingness to follow the rules, and giving inmates the opportunity to amend their wrongdoings, which is an interesting idea. Today we have gone over what the death penalty is, its pros, and why we as a society are against it. It is just and it is humane. Capital punishment is the only effective way to deter and bring closure to the crimes committed by whomever wants to cause mass harm to others, although there will still be people who do not believe in the death penalty and its ways. Thank you for watching.